kind of glech.
I
I'm
know.
sure you are too.
Yep. It's fun to lay down and then you can feel your nose draining down the side of your face. That's
Yeah.
pollen season.
Yep.
Nasty. Oh,
Mhm.
well. It's better than being truly sick, though. It's not
True.
right. It's not a
I think
virus.
at this point, it's given me a sinus infection, but beyond that, I mean, you know, which thankfully is not contagious.
Well, the good thing, exactly. The good thing is it means that spring is on its way. Warm
Yep.
weather abounds. And of course, with that, we have the threat of severe weather. We're going to talk about
Exactly.
that. I got the SpaceX launch today on
Yeah.
our Cams.
Yep. Made a
But
big wave
really,
here. I can tell you that for certain.
right? So we got a lot to talk about. So let's
We
do it.
do.
Let's get on
Let's
with the
do it.
talking weather. Roll that intro. Here we go. Welcome, one and all to Talking Weather. It's now Wednesday, the 4th day of March, 2026, and we're back. It's Mark and CJ, and I got the added graphic there at the end. Finally got around to doing that, and I made an outro, so everybody has to stick around to the end of today's show for our official outro video. So there you go.
Right.
All right, so what's going on, CJ? We talked at the cold open about snot dripping down our faces because of the pollen. And yeah, we'll probably have 4 people watching today because of that. But
That's all good. It's all good. You know, it happens. Everybody, our
springtime.
fellow Southerners will understand.
Exactly. Man, and it is. The pollen's getting thicker. The temperature's going up. We're going to be in the mid 70s here in Wilmington,
Right.
North Carolina, where I am. And in fact, let's get the title up there. There you go, Talking Weather. CJ's down in Southwest Florida, so you don't have the same tree problems that we do up here. You got to, Florida is obviously geographically different, but you're in Sarasota area.
Right. So we still have a lot of pines here, but they're not like we get the longleaf pines. That's definitely lech, but it's a little earlier than the rest of you guys. And
Right.
it starts and ends a little earlier. Our peak, I would say, was probably the last couple of weeks is when I really noticed it on my car in the mornings. And now it's starting, of course, naturally, right as I'm tapering off, right as it's tapering off, and you're starting to get some of the live oaks that are dropping and, replenishing their leaves for the year.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's been fun.
So we'll have to start pulling up pollen maps at some point here on the Talking Weather. I'm sure those exist out there. And
Nadine just said everybody's vehicle is now yellow. I'm pretty sure she's up in Live Oak. And I know in North Florida, they're suffering. So,
well, yeah, we'll have to start doing that, keeping track of the pollen. But again, it's a good sign. That means that warm weather is hopefully here to stay. However, we will be showing the rumors of storms animation that CJ made today, because not so much storms as maybe there's an appearance of cold, old man winter. That groundhog, he's trying to be right. And I'll tell you a post from our internet friend, Dr. Ryan Maui, a little bit later on as winter tries to make a comeback. So let's discuss what we're going to discuss for the rest of today's show, shall we? Bullet points for today. Multi-day severe weather. It's starting today. Florida drought. I'm telling you what, CJ, it's bad down there.
Yes,
and
it is.
So we're going to talk about that. A big meteor dominating my social media.
Really?
Up in the can't even talk today. The northwestern U.S., the Pac Northwest.
Yeah.
Show you that. We'll talk a little bit about hurricane season. Just not much to talk about regarding hurricane season just yet. And so why manufacture stuff that isn't there? But we will discuss it just a wee tad here today. All right.
Right.
And a few other topics thrown in for good measure. All right. So this is interesting today. The national high and low temperatures, Rio Grande Village, 3 in a row. That's a trifecta. That's a hat trick.
Yep.
And all the other monikers you want to throw at it. 100 degrees for the high temperature yesterday, still down at Rio Grande Village. Now, the national low, 2 places shared it. And that's what the Weather Service tweet said. And I had to check it because I couldn't find it. It says Rookwood, Maine. Rookwood. And I couldn't find it on Google Maps. I'll show you. And it's also Errol, New Hampshire. They shared it, right? So you have Maine weather, New Hampshire weather, all the hashtags. It's like, maybe it's Rockwood. But no, I mean, I don't think that they misspelled it. Rookwood. We'll get to that. All right. Oh, this is our at least third visit to Rio Grande Village area.
Yeah.
Let's just click on some of the so we looked at the visitor center the other day. There you go. This is down part of the Big Bend, National Park.
Yep.
Excuse me. I guess
that's a giant catfish.
So there must be. Oh, look at that. Are you serious?
Beautiful.
That's what it looks like down there. I'm gonna have to go down there.
Yeah, I've heard about this place before. People love to go down and hike down there. It's definitely one of the national parks I'd like to go to.
This is really, really cool. I have to see how far away this is. Probably too far because I'm going down for the National Tropical Weather Conference, and I'm taking my wife, 2 of my sons, one of my son's wives, and one of my daughters. You figure it out from there, folks, because there's a lot going on with our family, that's for sure. But a bunch of us are going down, and this is way over. I think it's going to be too far away. We're talking, the Big Bend there in Texas, and the closest we're going to be, I'm just backing this out. Oh, yeah, we can forget it because the closest we're going to be is Austin and San Antonio.
Right.
So a trek over to Rio Grande Village just doesn't seem like it's in the cards.
Yeah.
Dang, that would have been cool. I didn't realize it looked like that. All right. Well, I learned something. 100 yesterday, so 101 a couple days in a row. Toasty down there is like 106 recently in that region, and the heat still hanging on coming out of Chihuahua in Mexico.
Yep.
And however you say that, Coahuila or something. Coahuila. Thank you, CJ.
Coahuila. Yeah.
I do know how to say it. That's Moctezuma. There's no N. It's a C, so it's Moctezuma.
Yeah.
Anyway, 101 degrees for our 100 degrees, for our national high. Again, the national low shared between Rookwood, Maine, and if Weather Scott is on today or any of our other geographic sleuths, where the heck is Rookwood? Because I'll be darned if I couldn't find it. I could find Errol in New Hampshire. That was pretty easy. And if we get rid of the municipality boundary, grab our Google Street View, throw our person down there, and here you go. The Errol General Store. How convenient.
Yeah.
Very nice. So it was pretty cold up here, minus 15. Literally, to me, the first thing I think of is the opening few scenes of Beetlejuice.
Right.
When they were going through that town, it was Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear the score from Danny Elfman playing. And then they turned into that little store. Remember, it was like his hardware store that he owned. This looks just like it. I mean, in a way, that's what it reminds me of.
Interesting.
Me and my movie. Hey, it's whatever Wednesday, so I can amalgamate whatever I want and conflate stuff. But it does. It looks like something you'd see out of those opening scenes of Beetlejuice.
Yep.
This was in 2023, And I guess they got a glimpse of the future because this is where gas prices are heading again. Back in 2023, I guess gas prices in New Hampshire are high already.
Yes, so
Must be a lot of taxes up there. I don't know. 364 back in 2023.
Wow.
Probably heading there soon. We'll see. Story for a whole other bunch of podcasters. That's not for us to talk about. We'll talk about the weather. Great North Woods in Errol, New Hampshire. So they got some moose up there, I guess.
Yep.
Something like that. Anyway, it was -15 there. And the mysterious, what the hell I call that place, is Rookwood. And let me just show you. So if I type Rookwood, Maine, it doesn't do it. It says Rockwood, but there's no Rookwood, Maine. It won't do it. So if I type Maine all the way, there's Rockwood, Maine 15, Rockwood, so forth.
Yeah, I'm guessing that they probably misspelled it, and it might be Rockwood.
Well, let's see where Rockwood.
That is a real town,
right?
At least.
So Rockwood, Maine, is way up here on the northeast corner. I'm guessing. Nope, I'm sorry. It's sort of central northern areas, and so it's not too far.
No.
Rookwood. That wouldn't even make sense. So maybe I'll have to message them. Let's see if their DMs are open at the Weather Prediction Center, and let's see if I can message them. Nope, they don't have that. All right, well, I'm going to tag them. I really am, and I'm not going after them. I'm not trying to be that guy, but did you have an extra vowel in there when you needed a consonant? That's going to be the question. Because damned if we couldn't find the guy with a geography degree couldn't find Rookwood to save his life or to save the segment.
Right.
Nevertheless, it's kind of chilly up there still because winter is hanging on in Rookwood or Rockwood or Errol, New Hampshire. All right, so this morning I saw the SpaceX launch, and but I didn't get to see it from my house because we had fog. I tried to put the drone up. I was going to get it above the fog, but due to I guess heightened security concerns, I wasn't able to get the authorization because I live 2 miles from ILM. That's the airport here. And so I had to just watch it from my Nest cams that we have on the Outer Banks. And they launched at 5:52 this morning. So a few minutes later, I'm going to try to scooch this ahead so we can show you. A few minutes later, it moved up to where we could see it along the East Coast. It'd be helpful if I had this queued up ahead of time, I know. But it did come over our camera systems here on the Outer Banks. It can't be that far out. Maybe I've missed it here. That would be 6 minutes later. You got to trust me. I did tweet it out. So let me just go to my Twitter and I'll show you that real quick because I got to show you this. This was kind of cool. Have you ever seen the plume, the jellyfish, as they say?
Yeah,
well,
all the time.
From Adrian.
Yeah.
CJ said all the time, like it's just no big deal. Well, let me see. Where did I tweet that? Because I know I put it out there. I think it was John Krause that I tagged. Yep, there it is.
There it is.
So, yeah, this is from this morning. And caught it on the Nest Cam up there, the old Falcon 9. And that was at 6 o'clock. So it took 8 minutes. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I was almost there. Anyway, lots of views of this in my timeline, which I'll show you. I thought I had it queued up in here, but anyway, we did have a SpaceX launch, and they're doing them several times a week. And they put those Starlinks up there, which we will be depending on a lot.
Exactly.
Coming up this severe weather season. You know what else was happening in the skies last night? This was over the Pacific Northwest. Apparently a pretty big meteor that left a sonic boom for people to hear and feel. This is coming out of British Columbia. This is that Matthew Fab gentleman that we have featured a few times before. Here are some videos of it. This is out of Vancouver. Wait for it. 2 minutes later. Here comes this big bright meteor. There's the first boom. Yeah, you can hear it. So there's video of it happening. Yeah, here we go. Maybe. Yep, pretty bright. I guess it was kind of cloudy up there.
Wow.
See too much. We call that a bolide, though. B-O-L-I-D-E when they explode. So a piece of incoming meteor Double flash can be seen on here, and the GOES 18 satellite picked it up as well.
Yeah.
A little tiny flash. Lots of people seeing and hearing this, so I thought I'd point it out. Nothing to worry about. Typically, these burn up in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And when they don't, then, hey, we have a bad day.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump off the share for just a second and go over to the chat and see who all we've got on here. We got the drone guy.
Yes, we do.
Cloudy, too cloudy up there. Did you see it this morning, Brad? There we go. It was foggy. Oh, he said he was still in bed.
Mark, so, you might want to add a background to us. It's a little blank.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know why it keeps doing that.
That's all right. It keeps doing that because Mark forgets. So Mike Farrow, who lives up here, he's an administrator of the Wilmington Skywatchers or whatever it is.
Oh, interesting.
Facebook. He thought it was going to happen at 2:00 in the morning. So he was like, no, I'm done, because he's got to call a baseball game today.
Right.
He does the announcing for the UNCW Seahawks baseball team.
Yeah.
And got to rest up the voice so he can do the, coming up to the batter's box is Carlos Rivera or whatever. So anyway, the Cuban baseball player we all know. And he didn't get up at 2:00 to watch it, and they switched it to 5:52, and he still missed that. And somehow I got to add CJ back. He left for a second. There you are.
Yeah, I had a technical difficulty with my microphone. Sorry.
I thought maybe it was the dog.
No, it was not anything this platform did. It was totally me. User error.
But yeah, I missed it. Mike missed it. I couldn't get the drone up, and at least our Rodanthe cam saw it.
I was asleep.
But hopefully in early April, when I come down for the National Hurricane Conference, Artemis 2 will do their launch where they go around the moon. That is scheduled for April 1st if everything goes well in the next wet dress. Lots of changes with NASA lately. We'll probably should have a segment on that at some point because weather affects launches, of course. But I'll be down in CJ's neck of the woods in a little less than a month. Oh, from the United Kingdom. Good to see you there. Alex Storm Watching Channel, or Alex's.
Welcome.
I guess they don't let you do apostrophes in your YouTube names. Alex,
unfortunately.
My Siri will do that. If it says somebody like CJ's message, it'll say someone like CJS's message. Anyway, all right, let's get back to what the show is going to be doing for today. And got to get this pollen head cold thing. Yes, we want to do the entire screen. Thank you very much. And let's get into it. National Weather Service homepage here. Getting a little bit more busy, but CJ, pretty much the dominant feature is fog.
Yep.
And this time of year, that is not surprising.
No, that's what I expect. I mean, springtime, that's what I expect in the East.
Yeah, we're getting more moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Return flow coming out of the warm Gulf.
Yep.
We are getting shorter nights, but still cool.
Exactly.
Your warmer days, so you get more moisture sort of added to the atmosphere. You cool the nights off. They are shorter, but still we get the dense fog. So western Kansas, Nebraska, the high plains up here into Minnesota, around the lakes region, the deep south, foggy. And a lot of this shows, too, that there's a lot of low-level moisture starting to come in. And that will, more down here, obviously, where we're going to be talking about severe weather, but quite a bit of fog out there lately and some flood issues here through West Virginia and vicinity. Oh, a tornado warning? Oh, that is part of the drills that are going on. I was going to say that is the largest tornado warning in the history of mankind. So this has got to be that the drill that they're doing, because look at all these places where there's not a tornado happening.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Kentucky must be doing theirs today.
And we're doing ours. It's supposed to have happened, I think, at 9:30, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot to tell Daphne before she went to school. She really, really worries about severe weather.
Really?
Yeah, it scares her.
Yep. I just Googled it. The annual Kentucky statewide tornado drill for 2026 will be conducted Wednesday, March 4th at 10:07 a.m. or 9:07 a.m. Central Time.
Yeah, the Kentucky tornado drill. So that would explain all the red, but it didn't show up. Let's see if it shows.
Right.
Oh, there
That's
it is.
interesting. Oh, there it
Eastern
is. Yeah.
Kentucky. Yeah, I had to refresh. How about that? Yeah, North Carolina
Yeah.
had theirs earlier today, but obviously nothing up here at the moment because I think, again, theirs was at 9:30.
Right.
But elsewhere, though, Southern Ohio here, we do have some flood issues going on.
Yeah.
And kind of a training set of storms. You got, I don't know, I don't think there's any snowpack anymore. That should be all gone. So I don't think it's that, because you get melting snow on top of heavy rain, and that could be a problem. And you get some ice jams and so forth. But
Yeah.
Flood watches, flood warnings, flood advisories. Sometimes you wonder maybe there's too many things going on when you have advisories and warnings. Like, what's the difference, right? Just saying, communication's important. And when you have an overwhelming amount, different colors of green, I don't know, maybe it could be refined.
Right.
Not our department, but just kind of pointing it out. Down the Wasatch and elsewhere in Utah, some snow.
Wow.
Still, we're lacking the snow very badly here in beautiful, colorful Colorado. We talked about that a lot. They do have special weather statements, fire weather watch, dry conditions out there. You can look at some of the fire weather watch conditions, 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, 6% humidity, CJ. Yikes.
So I wonder what the difference is between a fire weather watch and a red flag warning.
That's what I'm saying. There's like a little, I don't know. I have to get Ken Graham. I met him a couple times when he was down at the Hurricane Center. I think he's still the administrator for the National Weather Service, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so the fire weather watch is the watch compared to the red flag warning. I wonder why they call it a red flag warning then. I don't know.
Right, because you have it's just confusing sometimes. Nevertheless, dry with possibly 55 mile per hour wind speeds, possibly very low humidity values. And this is what we're really worried about. That fire season could start and just stay with us for quite a while this spring into the summertime because of the lack of snow cover in that area. So all in all, not a bad scene, but over the next few days, I'll just draw a general area through here. Roughly, this region is going to be active with a lot of severe weather, and we're going to definitely get to that. Now, speaking of dry, the U.S. Drought Monitor, Florida just keeps, and this is an interesting post here from Colin, 100% of Florida, all of you. And by the way, CJ, how many counties does Florida have?
67. So it's every single of the 67 counties here in the state are experiencing some form of drought.
I laugh only because I have an elementary school child and the 67 thing still lingers in my mind.
Yeah.
That's where it came from, is Florida, you and your 6-7 counties.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, all of them in some form of drought. Whereas, and now this is just like proof that we're living in the upside down. 0% of California is in drought. Excuse me?
Right? Yeah. I
like,
just,
what?
Why?
Luckily, a good chunk of eastern Colorado not looking too bad. Let's just draw on the map a little bit here. We use blue to highlight everything a little bit better. Southeastern Colorado not looking too bad, but once you get up into the Rockies, we are talking extreme to exceptional drought.
Right.
And that should start to spill over. And it's good to see Kansas. And you remember what Harding told us, that when your soil moisture content is not below average, that helps with the EML, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is looking at portions of the desert Southwest, which is where that EML source region is. And right now, the drought isn't too bad, but it is starting to get worse. So that could, it has an effect on that. And, it can lead to worse capping.
Right.
You never know.
Something to keep an eye on. But boy, for Florida, let's zoom into it. Another one.
Yeah.
Mr. McCarthy, 100% of Florida's 6-7 counties are in drought. And, hey, I'm trying to say it often so we can get all the elementary and middle school kids to tune in, and we're good to go. That's 6-7. And there it is again. I didn't even know that. I seriously didn't. 67% of the state. Wow. Florida is literally living the 6-7 dream
Yeah.
for that phenomenon. Anyhow, this does not look like it's going to abate anytime soon,
No.
unfortunately. And the closer we get to May, especially, that's really when you commence. I don't want to say
Mhm.
your dry season, because you certainly get your daily thunderstorms, but you have to really start depending on tropical influences at that point.
Yep.
And then it becomes be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of waiting and seeing how much this will delay our rainy season, if our rainy season is affected by
Right.
this at all. Um,
Any
but
big fires currently, CJ?
so out of, let me see. I think the only one that is of note that I know of is the National Fire,
Yeah,
and that's
still down
they're
in the south.
still, battling that one. So
Well, I guess the positive to this is no, we don't have any major outside of the ones down there in what is that, Collier County, I guess.
mhm.
Um, but certainly the extreme drought expanding and the lack of overall rainfall potential, not good, as they say,
Mm-mm.
not good. All right, severe threat. This is the big topic here. This was our thumbnail for today, and I
Yep.
did consult the Google on this one because I spelled Oklahoma wrong yesterday just because of being tired and groggy. But tornadoes, I had to help my daughter with something.
The plural is OES.
I know, but I'm telling you, you guys know what this
Mhm.
IXL thing is. Speaking of school,
Mm-mm.
did you have that growing up, CJ? I know you're a few years past elementary school now, but was that a thing when you were still in school? It's called IXL. It's like this online learning
No.
thing.
If it was online, then absolutely not. We barely even had computers.
Gotcha.
So I mean, you
That's funny.
know,
I'm old enough to
let
be
me
your
put it to you
dad,
this
and
way, between No Child Left Behind
right
and Hooked on Phonics, I'm
there
surprised I
you
got
go.
educated at all.
Well, they have this thing called IXL. It's this online classroom thing, and I helped Daphne with it.
Right.
They have a math side, which I typically
Mm.
pass that off to Rebecca, um, because she can just smoke calculus and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Not that Daphne's doing calculus in the 5th grade, but I'm the ELA side, the whatever that means,
English and language
language,
arts.
yes, and
That I
social
know.
studies and science, right?
Right.
Anyway, she had this thing about the plural of tornado, and I said ES on there, and it said it was wrong. I kid you
What?
not. Yep. So I Googled it today when I was putting together this graphic in Photoshop 5.5, which came out probably before you were born. Or
Speaking of when I was in elementary school.
right, exactly. And I had to make sure because I remembered that IXL telling me that tornadoes with an ES was incorrect. And
Mhm.
Google and the Merriam-Webster thing said that the more common spelling is DOES, although DOS is acceptable.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, weird. Like,
Very
well, then do potato. How do you spell potatoes?
right.
Right? It's not with an S, it's ES.
This is why people have trouble learning English.
I know. That's what I was telling Daphne. We didn't
Like,
mean to turn this into a, but that's the English language for you. It is goofy. And gosh, she had a phenomenal one yesterday. We were going to soccer, trying to remember what it was, and it won't come to me in time. But it was, can. She was doing the whole thing. She goes, why did the teachers always say when someone goes, can I go to the bathroom? I don't know. Can you? And I was like, oh, that's a very good question. And I was trying to explain that to her, the difference between can
in
you
May.
do something, or may I, asking permission. And I tried to explain that to her. And I said, and isn't it interesting that if you also said, can I have a can of soup? That one is a noun and the other one is, what is it, a verby kind of, can I have a can of soup? And you would say, no, I don't know. Can you? It just the English language. Good luck, people.
Thanks,
So,
Britain.
right. So our English people that are on here, Kathy and others, explain that to me. Can I have a can of soup? All right. So let's
Ugh.
talk about severe weather threat rather than this, because I know people are going, what have I tuned into?
Yeah.
All right. This is what happens when the allergies hit, folks.
Yeah.
So make sure you tune in when I have the full blown flu. That should be fun. All right. Seriously, the updated 3 to 7 day hazards outlook has been issued. This, of course, was from yesterday, last night. And
Right.
this is going to be a big problem. It really is. So,
Mhm.
again, we're not talking
No.
major widespread outbreak of strong, violent tornadoes everywhere. We're not there yet. And we don't know if we'll ever get there this year. We just don't
Right.
know the future. However, it is severe weather season. It's starting to ramp up and it is early. CJ and I were talking about that quite a bit yesterday, even offline.
Yeah.
It just kind of blows my mind a little bit that we're already talking about this in early March. So the severe weather threat, and they've really highlighted the 6th of March, which is a couple of days out, Friday being a pretty big day. Heavy rain. Of course, this is valid the 6th through the 10th, with heavy rain the 6th through the 8th. All right. So moving on along, SPC, and of course, yesterday in the afternoon update, they redid their graphics, and I really like these. These
I do
look
too. They look great.
better. They're sharper. They pop more. And I've seen a few people giving feedback to how some of the cities that are not on there, like New York. So New York's on this one, but somebody said that it was Patterson, New Jersey.
It
Maybe they
was for a
changed it.
minute, but like you have Cleveland, no Pittsburgh, and
Right.
Huntsville isn't on there. Listen, folks, this is just to give you a generalized idea.
But it was funny to have
Yeah.
Patterson, New Jersey instead of New York. And I
Somebody
thought,
from New Jersey, I guarantee you,
that's what I was
designed
saying. I was
the
like,
graphic.
there's got to be somebody from Jersey in there that was making
And
these up.
Jersey is just like absolutely not. If we have any folks from North Jersey, heck, even South Jersey, y'all know, y'all, unfortunately, the armpit of the Northeast. We love you, but we
Right.
love to screw with you.
So they left the Big Apple out on purpose, maybe. I don't know,
Uh-huh.
whatever. But these look really nice. So
They look great.
let's dig into it, CJ. So
Let's do it.
today, March the 4th, what do we got?
Yeah, so today we are expecting some areas where we could have some really high wind type of an event today, as well as large hail. That's what I'm really getting from the forecast discussion today. So that's why that slight risk has been outlined. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm trying to bring up, I had it in front of me just so that way I can see it a little better.
Yeah, so they did change it. So now you actually have
Mhm.
the hail probability. So some of the inner dynamics of all of this have changed as well, not just the aesthetics of it. There's
Yes.
more
So
info.
Yep. So the biggest thing is that tonight, we could see some decent hail and wind potentials as well as a non-zero. It's just 2%, but it's a non-zero tornado risk. And that includes portions of that area that's been outlined in the slight risk. So today, I'm not expecting widespread severe storms. Just know that, hey, if you're in that slight risk, you could see some high winds, damaging hail, and maybe a tornado or two. So the big show begins tomorrow. Is going to be the chasers call the day before the day, right?
Well, let's take a look real quick, though, before we get to tomorrow. And I should have thought about this earlier. It just popped in.
With the
Why
HRRR.
don't we run through the HRRR real quick from the 12Z for today? So currently, not much out there, but a little bit of pre-existing stuff. Let's jump on radar scope because this is important. When you have ongoing activity, what does that tend to do, CJ?
Oh, it tends to limit, of course, because it saps the instability out of the atmosphere.
Yeah, 9:30 in the morning out there, and it's already cloudy and rainy.
Yep. So I don't think today's severe threat is going to be as robust. Really, I think that the big days are going to be tomorrow and Friday, and that seems to be everybody seems to be concurring with that. And today, like I said, you're going to see primarily a more of a messy storm mode, as well as more of a linear threat rather than any supercellular threat. Not to say that there couldn't be, especially over portions of Oklahoma in the southern regions of that slight risk area. But I do want to focus. Sorry, I'm looking at tomorrow.
So just taking the HRRR out real quick to later this afternoon, Missouri starts to get in on some action.
You could have a couple of supercells down there in Oklahoma with some atmospheric rebounding. I mean, it's just a very typical slight risk day. Honestly, we've been out there quite a few times.
Right. But it's not that's the thing. It's not the slight risk flavor that you would see in late May.
No, it's not. Of
The
course not. It's
dynamics
not
are
more
different. It's
isolated.
still early March, right?
Yeah, this convective mode is more akin to what you'd see in the southeast.
Right, right.
And that's very, it's very typical for early March, it's very
So it's
common.
not, as I say, not nothing. I know that's a double
Right.
negative, and you have DFW in here, so airport
Mhm.
delays. This is important. That's why
Exactly.
we talk about it. But putting it into perspective,
Right.
no, this is not, something to get too completely up in arms over.
No.
All right, Storm Prediction Center, let's go. I clicked on you. Next page, please. It's frozen, CJ. Come on. Did they pay
Yeah.
their internet bill? All right. So here is day 2.
Day 2, this is gonna be more, I think, of what we're used to, in
Right.
the plains. You're gonna have that upper level trough that's gonna start moving across the Intermountain West, and as it starts to impede on the southern and central plains, by midday, you're gonna have surface dew points in the 50s and 60s across the warm sector, and a dry line developing over West Texas. And you're gonna have, moderate instability along to the east of the dry line. Very typical setup across much of west and central Texas, northward into the Panhandles
You
region.
weren't kidding, dude. Look at that dry line.
Mhm.
Holy cow.
Yep. So this is going to be a very, very, typical event for, Caprock dry lines. I mean, it
Right.
really, this is more like what you would see in later in the season. And with those threats, you're looking at, 15% high wind risk, a 15% hatched hail risk. So that's the new intensity levels. That's intensity level 1. So remember, there are 3 intensity levels, 1, 2, and 3. Um, and then about a 5% tornado risk. And that includes places like Pampa, Snyder, going into that, you know, kind of east of Interstate 27, that
Yes.
Interstate 27.
God, and we just know that area now so well.
Yeah.
We
We've
definitely
spent a
have to
lot of
slow
time
down a
out there
little
on the
bit.
Cap Rock.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there.
Mhm.
But people live there, and it
Yeah.
could be a problem. We don't want to dismiss that in any fashion.
No, not
But
at all.
again, it's not the same as we would see in later April or May.
No.
The dynamics just aren't there for what we're used to seeing. However, the threat is increasing, and
Mhm.
5% is certainly more than 2, and it's certainly more than 0.
Yeah.
Pretty big hail risk. I wonder
Mhm.
if I have to send a note to Dr. Giamenco, and see if they're doing any additional ice chip stuff this year. If they are, it's probably May.
That
You
would
get
be
all
my
this
guess.
hail out here already. And then the wind threat. So, CJ, when we talk about wind, severe
Mhm.
thunderstorm wind, I think that gets sort of overlooked quite a bit.
It
That the
can.
strong downburst of wind and the
Mhm.
straight line wind, what are we talking about? 50, 60, 70 knots, sometimes even more in some of the
Yeah,
stronger
I
seas?
believe the requirement, it actually varies depending on your local weather forecast office, but I think
Right.
generally anything above 60 miles
Yeah.
per hour is considered high wind.
Right.
But in this case, I don't think they gave us a specific da-da-da,
Yeah, I didn't see it mentioned, just quickly glancing through it.
no. There's not any specifically, but, they're talking about large hail and marginally severe wind
Severe
gusts.
wind gusts, right.
Yeah.
But
So
again, define severe,
still,
like
yeah. So I would say, 50, 60, 70 miles per hour. That's still, listen, that's tropical storm force. That's still
yeah.
enough to do some damage, bring down
So
some trees,
right,
toss your stuff that's outside around. So if you live in Amarillo or Elk City, anywhere in that, northwest Texas, Lubbock, Abilene, those areas, I would start, just making sure, hey, I don't have my plastic porch chairs outside so they go
right.
flying down the street.
Yep, severe weather season here already in March. But remember
Mhm.
last year when we were, you'll know the town probably over my memory. Um, and it said there was baseball size hail and 80-mile-per-hour
Oh,
wind coming, and it was that.
Seymour,
Yes, it was like the
the
end of the
the
world.
land
Oh, I wish
cane,
I had that video just ready to
the
go.
land cane, I remember that.
That is
Yeah.
what that kind of severe thunderstorm wind looks like. And that actually
Mhm.
is another good idea. When we do this in the future, CJ, I think I should have some videos queued up of
Yeah,
what some of this stuff looks like. Now,
I agree.
unfortunately, We don't have any tornado videos of our
Yet.
own currently. I have some from 2004.
Yet we don't have them
Yet.
This year, we're going to change that.
We all know what tornadoes generally look like, right? But some of these other hazards, what exactly does large hail and these thunderstorm winds? We got a few examples of that.
We do.
And I think that might be kind of neat to show people just to.
I agree. I think we should do that moving forward.
Screw the AI and the AR. We'll show you what we shot ourselves.
Exactly.
So that's tomorrow. And then finally Friday.
Friday.
Big show. Wow. An enhanced risk already.
Day 3.
And this is where you and I started the whole hail project up here in eastern Kansas, northwest Missouri back in 24.
Tornado.
Right. Yes, exactly. We did actually see a tornado. That's right. I forgot about that guy. A very small supercell, and we could see it through the trees.
And it came right over top of us. We looked straight up,
That's
guys.
right.
You see the whole thing.
You know what? That's for tomorrow. Throwback Thursday. We're going to do that. I'm going to pull up some of the stuff from 24. This will move up to day 2. This will be topical. We're doing it. Our Throwback Thursday will be in Mark and CJ's accidental tornado in 2024.
Right.
And you looked right up into it. It looked like a cinnamon roll above our heads.
It was neat. So tomorrow, or Friday, sorry, not tomorrow, Friday, this is the day. So I want folks, especially in that enhanced risk area that you're looking at there, and that includes some not small cities. So there is a lot of population in here in some of the bigger population centers out there in the Central Plains and the Midwest. You're talking Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas. You're talking Topeka. You're talking areas like down in southeast Kansas. You have some smaller but larger settlements like, Pittsburgh, Kansas, home of, Pittsburgh State University. You have, I think, our Kansas City's thrown in there somewhere. Yeah. Some bigger cities there. But then, of course, you have the 2 major metropolitan areas in Oklahoma, OKC and
Norman,
Tulsa. So, you're going to have a lot of people being affected by this. And this is what people are really focused on. And that's because not only do we have the threat for high winds and large hail, we're looking at a potentially violent tornado or 2 occurring out of this. So the parameters are there. I mean, we're talking about helicity in the 300 to 400 meters squared per second squared range. We're talking about 0 to 6 kilometer shear around 50 knots. I mean, this is pretty potent stuff, especially for March. So, of all forecasters, this is Chris Broyles is on a roll, man. Sure. I do support his forecasts. He is usually very on point, especially with these mid-range forecasts. And he's, he talks about in here that the position of the mid-level jet is going to be further south, and it'll be more favorably timed. And
I think our stuff started to jump on you, CJ. I think our stuff might be broken today. Let's see. The Storm Prediction Center outlooks.
It might be.
Yeah, I have to look at this because what I wanted to show, and it's not working properly for some reason, is on the SPC chart. You have a few cities, but ours you can drill down.
Yeah, you can
actually see more. But
I wonder if that has to do with how things are done, or maybe it just hasn't refreshed yet. We'll have to talk to Will.
Yeah, paging Will Woodgate.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, we're looking at the models are supporting a threat for supercells with strong tornadoes, and he says that right in the middle there of that outlook discussion. So it wouldn't surprise me, especially if the models start coming into more of an agreement and start ramping up that and timing that mid-level jet, that we could see an upgrade tomorrow or, into the moderate category.
4 out of 5, as they say.
So, this is something that, is going to be a problem. And they're talking about, large to very large hail and the potential for supercells with tornadoes as far north as Kansas City.
Right.
And that's where the secondary low-level jet is forecast to develop early Friday evening. And it should persist into the evening and overnight as multiple supercell clusters will congeal into a squall line.
Wow. Man, oh, man. Well, our good friends up at Fox Weather are going to be all over this. Kopic will be out there. Gherkin, We're going out there eventually, but our period of time comes up later in April. And again, we're going to trickle into talking about this more. We do have a game plan, but it's not quite yet time to unveil what we're going to be doing. But our friends that are going to be out there, Paige and Bryce, Adam, we know so many people. And that's been a really neat part of this, is to get to meet these people that we see as celebrities now on YouTube and, at some of the conventions and summits or whatever, winning awards. And it's all to cover severe weather. The people that have taken their passion and turned it into a career / service to people. And, what a world. I mean, it's amazing. You can chase from your desktop, and just a gentle reminder, we're the ones that brought it to you first 20 years ago.
Right.
And that's the shirt I'm wearing. It's actually that 20-year anniversary.
Oh, shirt. Yeah.
Yep. All it started in Hurricane Katrina. We were the very first folks to do live weather streaming. Right. That was hurricane season 2005. How old were you in 2005, CJ?
I would have been 8 turning 9. So actually, Katrina hit Florida. I believe it was my 9th birthday.
How about that?
Yeah. So it would have been August 23rd. So, yeah. But I was 9. And then my dad was deployed to Slidell, Louisiana, as he was in the Pennsylvania National Guard. So they sent him down. And then from there, he was repositioned to Lake Charles, where he will never let me forget that he rode out Hurricane Rita in a Army tent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote it out on the Martin Luther King Bridge in Beaumont, Port Arthur, which is a documentary, by the way, Tracking the Hurricanes 2005. Plug. Yeah. But seriously, the streamers will be out there, and
maybe we should get some folks on Friday to talk.
We'll see what we can do. See if they, before they head out, I'll ring up a few and see who might be available. All right. So I saw this, and then I saw this from John. A lot of second guessing from time to time. We see this during hurricane season quite a bit. The discourse from chasers doubting the 30% risk for Friday is exhausting, but it is also a window into the fact that most don't understand how probabilistic hazard forecasting works at all. I like John's approach to this. He didn't, there's no ad hominem attacks here. There's no besmirching. It's like, all right, come on. This is exhausting, people. You make that statement, and then you point out some educational aspects to this that you just don't understand, perhaps, how probabilistic hazard forecasting works. There's absolutely no reason to not have a 30% out for this synoptic threat. And he just posted a Euro snapshot of the 500 millibar winds and so forth. And we can look at that, CJ and I, we know exactly what that means, but maybe the average person doesn't. So he goes on further to explain things more. And this is true. This is why the SPC, just like the NHC, are the best people in the world. So are they going to be perfect? No, of course not. And when you're perfect, it's time to retire. Seriously, that means you have mastered everything. There's no reason to keep going. You do something else. I believe that thoroughly. I won't quit what I'm doing until, the funeral happens, honestly, because I always want to learn.
Yep.
And I just thought this was interesting. Medium range forecasting, John goes on to say, is not just about models.
Thank you.
The euro is too flat on recent runs. That's not meteorology or even forecasting.
I agree.
That's just model watching. The models are tools.
They're tools, and it's how you use them in your forecasting. I say this all the time. Forecasting is one part art, one part science, one part gut feeling.
Sure.
That's why we call it forecasting. It's prediction. We're predicting the weather. We don't know 100% if our forecast is going to verify. But you take the tools that are available and you use those. You're taking, you're diagnosing the current state of the atmosphere and moving that on forward. I can actually plug one or two people, but there's a great book by Tim Vasquez that talks about this process and how you do it, and how you take all of this information and kind of plug it away. But Mark, when we're out in the field, we use the models to an extent, but a lot of it's nowcasting. And a lot of the chasers out there, you're looking at mesoscale, stuff during the day. You might look at the wrap, you may look at the whatever. But when you're forecasting, you want to make sure that you're not just taking what one model run says verbatim.
Right. And especially if it's trying to reaffirm your confirmation bias. And that's what it's
Yeah.
talking about here. And finally, the SBC doesn't forecast for your live stream.
Lord knows they do not.
Right. And it's the same thing with the National Hurricane Center. They're not putting stuff out to satisfy my needs at Hurricane Track or whatever. I just thought this was pretty pertinent stuff. We're starting early this year, so there's a lot of sort of eager beavers out there ready to go. I understand that.
There hasn't been a lot going on in the
Right.
severe weather space in a while. So yeah, people are chomping at the bit to get out to the plains. Look, it's still March.
Right. There's a long way to go.
Still March. Even the legendary, and Trey was great for this. He says it all the time, my forecasting, this is how I do it. He just gives you the tools to do it.
Right.
I was looking back at his, verification from last year, and he expected last year to be at average or maybe even slightly below. And it was one of the most active core tornado seasons we had seen in years. So, even legendary forecasters, they can sometimes get it wrong. You have to be humble and know when to say, yeah, I screwed up.
Coming up on Friday, we will certainly be addressing this. And once we get to the show Friday itself, we're going to know a lot more. And I will reach out to a few folks to see who could come on and maybe give us their thoughts on what they're going to do for the day and so forth and so on. By the way, just a real quick, Jesse Bass apparently is tuning in. And he said, wow, face looking slim there, big guy. Remember I told you all I lost 30 pounds?
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Jesse. Thank you for noticing. All right. Good to see him tuned in as well.
It's awesome.
So back to the show here instead of Mark's beautiful mug. Severe weather threat increasing. We will be on top of it, of course, and try to give you our insight and learn from you people too, especially those that are out there. And then we'll be out there ourselves starting in late April through June. Not the entire 70 days, but you'll see. All right, so
I'd love to. Trust me, we're not.
I know, really. Family, money, all those things. Yeah. So let me unshare because I do want to show this nice, pretty graphic that CJ set up. Let me find it here. Where are you at? Where are you at? There it is. There it is. There. Where? Come on. There it is. So this isn't quite a storm per se, as it is.
Right.
Old Man Winter and ye old groundhog sort of conspiring to, I guess, give us a reminder that winter is not over yet. And of course, we know that. It's officially on the calendar until March 20th, 21st, whatever. But Dr. Maui has Tuesday weather after dark. So he posted this last night. Spring for the next 7 to 10 days. Thank you. I'll take it. And then the bottom drops out next week with a final polar vortex onslaught. Even for mid-March, this will be a significant blast. Until then, enjoy the warmth. So, what are we seeing here? We're seeing some 850 millibar temperature anomalies.
Right.
5,000 feet going down the road a piece. Very cold air is going to spill down into the lower 48 as the polar vortex. Again, that is a real meteorological thing. It wasn't just made up for sensationalism.
Right.
Another lobe of it's going to kind of pinch off, come down. You got very cold air in the upper parts of the atmosphere, somewhat more of a longitudinal trough, a very deep trough. Looks like it'll dig in. So one more bout of very cold weather. But I wonder, CJ, if this will help to spawn some southeast severe weather beyond the 10-day time frame, something that we're going to have to look for.
Yeah, it's definitely something to look for. I'm hoping that it brings some rain down into the peninsula because we need it.
Well, let's see it. Let's just peer out.
So
let's start with the upper levels real quick. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So we already covered the first week or so with our discussions. Look at that piece of that cutoff down there over Mexico.
Yeah.
We just rolling along, cold air rolling along at the roughly where jets fly. A little bit, at least on their ascent. I was trying to think about 200 millibars. That's where they're at their cruising altitude.
Yeah.
Sorry, the meteorology sometimes gets the best of me. Anyway, this is 500 millibars up, or about 18 to 20,000 feet. And now we're out beyond a week's time. But look, you can see that jet maybe. I don't know, CJ. GFS doesn't agree with Dr. Maui. That is, you used this term with me yesterday. What is that?
Oh, zonal flow.
Yes,
Sorry, I was
sir.
like, what the?
Bingo.
Yeah, it's just been the GFS is just showing straight up zonal flow with some of those short waves embedded, but I don't,
This is the Euro AIFS, so this is the AI.
Yeah, the Euro definitely seems to be more aggressive on it from what I understand. So you might try the 0Z run of the Euro.
Let's do that. 0Z and go out to the longer time range. Yep, so there's the Euro dropping
That's
in.
A pretty potent trough.
Sure. But just looking at it verbatim, lots of wind energy down here. You know, we're going to have to watch that. I
don't like that it's positively tilted instead of negatively tilted. I don't know.
Have dew points on here. Bummer.
I mean, there's your cold.
Yep.
Eesh. Wow. Wonder what the precip's looking like there. But I don't think you can get off of there the accumulated precip.
That's a pretty potent. Look at that. Dang. Yeah. So yeah, getting out beyond the 10-day time frame. You know, maybe deep south stuff.
Yeah, there could be. And I'll tell you what, if we get, I mean, that time frame's a little, but we'll see if it sticks to that Monday. I might have to get out there for that. You never know.
Well, that's why we call it rumors of storms, because this is so far out in time that, hey, the GFS could end up being right, and it's all zonal flow. And what do we mean by that? Well, zonal flow, of course, is when it's basically like that. It's like zonal, right? It's just west to east. And then you have these longitudinal troughs, or what is the other term? But you have zonal flow, and I forget. Darn it. I get locked into the longitudinal trough because it's like longitudinal. Meridional. Thank you. That's why we have a co-host, ladies and gentlemen, or otherwise half the show would just be empty.
I knew what you were thinking of.
Right. So meridional flow, or we get these deep troughs carving in and a big old chunk of cold air, and then the battle zone down here. So that will be something we will be watching. Yeah. But back to this real quick. Did you notice way out here, not at day 6, ladies and gentlemen, but at day 7? Holy. Again, CJ, this is early, and we're talking about a week out. Already a 15% area. We're going to be busy here on the Talking Weather, talking a lot of weather.
Yeah, that time of year. It is that time of year. But yeah, it looks like model forecasts are in general agreement for Tuesday. And this is, I'm just reading off of what Broyles had written. On an upper level trough northeastward into the, it's moving it northeastward into the southern high plains, and a mid-level jet will eject northeastward ahead of it. The air mass, at least the models are suggesting that the air mass ahead of that will become moderately unstable by Tuesday afternoon, and combined with the obviously large-scale ascent, you're looking scattered severe storms in the afternoon and evening, and the favored threat areas, obviously parts of the southern and central plains eastward to into the Ozarks.
So that large-scale ascent, that's that lift. That's why that's so important. You have to have the air rising, and then that helps. You're not talking about a big dome of high pressure sitting over everything where the air is sinking. So lots of rising air, the instability, all the puzzle pieces. We're starting to see that come together.
And that's all he's saying there. He's not saying, oh, this is going to be huge. We're having this. Right. No, he's just saying, hey, the models are hinting that this could happen, so we need to watch it. And that's exactly
there's enough agreement that boom, a 15% area has already been introduced all the way out to the next week, 7 days into the future. All right, last thing we're going to cover today. Let's talk hurricane season. It'll be just a little bit because, honestly, I saw the thing the other day from one of the forecasters in Orlando. We'll not call names out because I really don't like to besmirch people or pretend like I'm some kind of a gatekeeper or whatever. There's no reason to do that. I've had it done to me over the years. It's not fun. I like learning, and I don't like putting people down. But this person got some flack because they showed the risk areas for tropical cyclones this coming hurricane season. The landfall risk areas had a red area through here roughly, and another one through here. And it was based on this LRC, the Lezak recurring cycle.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other discussion for a whole other day.
Yeah, we're not getting into the
Um,
alphabet soup of teleconnections and
right.
yeah,
But that's
yeah.
pretty much what it is. It's another form of teleconnection. And there is some merit to it.
Mhm.
It's not widely adopted. Okay. But it is also widely frowned upon, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
So really highlighting any landfall area this early
it's too
is
early.
just there's no need for it.
No.
Um, but what do we know? Already out 89 days now until hurricane season. Brandon yesterday mentioned Brandon Dunn. We were at 90 days. Now we're counting down where it's
Yep,
89.
89.
What do we see? Well, one of the big things that jumps out, and if I had Dr. Klotzbach sitting next to me, he would probably say the same thing. The lack of the horseshoe warmth is definitely glaring. We call this the AMO, the lack of the classic AMO, the Atlantic multidecadal oscillation,
Yep.
or what we say positive AMO look.
Mhm.
That's just not there. It's not gone. This
No.
isn't all cold relative to average, but it's pretty close to average,
Right.
and it's not what we have seen in the last few years. Instead, the anomalous warmth is sitting out here. This is your subtropics, anywhere from here
Yep.
north. And this is, of course, your high latitude areas. This is your deep tropics down here. But even the deep tropics, south of about 20 degrees latitude around there, it's just kind of right on the money. Slightly
Right.
warmer than average near the Caribbean and elsewhere. Most of the Gulf running warmer than average, but it's pretty much been that way for the last 10 years plus.
Yeah.
And we have the growing El Nino. This will go away. It's all going to be replaced, it looks like, by very warm water. I mean, honestly, you can look at this just alone and literally surmise more than likely average to slightly below average season in terms of the overall numbers
Right.
and ACE. That's all we know. That's all we know. Patterns, 2-week windows, 6-week
We don't know.
windows, 3-day windows. Remember, Hurricane Michael had
Mhm.
about a 2-day window, 48 hours, that it took advantage of a very favorable upper level environment and
Very.
a very favorable oceanic environment, basically in this vicinity right here. No
Other
way in the world you're figuring that out. Even if you painted, high landfall risk through here in March, you couldn't tell anybody there's going to be a Cat 5 hurricane on October 10th, 2018.
No, as a
in
matter
March.
of fact, Mark, if I remember correctly, a lot of people didn't even think it was gonna happen.
Oh, of course. There was quite a few very bad forecasts.
Mhm.
And the Hurricane Center's very first
Yeah.
forecast was, I believe, 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm roughly into Mexico Beach. They got the track right, but they were off about
Yeah.
100 knots or so.
So,
Something like that.
right, and I wanna another storm that really jumps out in a below active season, in a below active period during an El Nino was obviously one of the most infamous storms in the past 50 years, and that's
Yep.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew was the first storm of the season, didn't form until late August.
Yep.
It
It was headed
only
up this
takes
way.
one,
It's
folks.
like it died out, got
Mhm.
caught underneath that ridge, and the rest
And it
is
just
history.
exploded over 2 days. It went from nothing, a disorganized mess, into the now infamous Category 5 and brought absolutely apocalyptic destruction to South Dade County.
Yeah.
So,
So that's
I
what we're
mean
going to focus on is what we know, when we know it, and when the time comes. Everything else will
Mhm.
work itself out. Trying to guess the future. Hey,
We
look,
don't know.
everybody do what you want. It's fine. But exhausting ourselves over it and wasting people's time
Right.
where there really just isn't any good pattern recognition for specifics. And that's what people want to know. Remember, and that's where I've really aimed my hurricane stuff in the last few years. So
Right.
many people want to know now, and I think this is actually good. I'd say it a lot, when it comes to the weather, be selfish. How will
Mhm.
this affect me?
Right.
People want to know, how's this going to affect my house?
Right.
And because we cannot tell you that even 24 hours out in many
Mhm.
cases, there's no use in me wasting your time pretending like I know 3 months in advance, a month in advance, 2 weeks in advance.
Right.
Patterns, favorable, unfavorable, MJO, no MJO, things like that.
Right.
Subsidence, no subsidence. Yes, we can talk about that, but we're still weeks and weeks away. But some of the puzzle pieces that we look at are a little bit interesting, and I'll just rehash one more time. Generally, a cool look to the AMO. warmth and relative to average up in the higher latitudes, not in the deep tropics, that's for sure. El Nino coming on. I would expect that the numbers that are going to come out from the various agencies will be average to below average, pending future reviews of the data. And people that besmirch that, oh, they always revise these forecasts. Well, excuse me, coaches revise players, and everything in games when the game isn't going the way they want. They do it in baseball, football, basketball, tennis, whatever, right? Especially a team sport. And the same is true with weather.
Always.
You revise the plan as new data comes in.
Now, Mark, I do have one question for you. What's a good, if you can think of an analog year, what are you thinking?
That is a good question. So a good analog year, off the top of my head, somewhat 2015.
Okay.
Although the Atlantic seems like it was colder. In fact, I think when we get to, because the next couple of days we're going to be busy with severe weather, but maybe Monday we can revisit the tropics again. And I don't know, maybe start making that a weekly thing. Because you got a graphic. It's not on here yet, is it?
I haven't fixed it. I haven't put it up there yet.
We'll have it ready for Monday. Excellent timing. What'd you say it was going to be? Talking tropics or something?
We're going to bring back an old Mark thing. What's up in the tropics?
What's up in the tropics?
That's it.
So we'll revisit that more on Monday, because what I'd like to do, and you bring up a good question, analogs, if something analogous or similar to this year, we'll show some sea surface temperature anomaly maps from previous years. And I know the Tidbit site will give analogs from the current set, so we could even look at that and dig into it just a little bit more. But I just want to focus more and more on impacts and what to expect when the time comes, and just not waste people's time. Our time is very valuable. My good friend Tony says, time is the greatest gift that you can give anybody at all, ever, because we're limited. And I want to focus more of our energy and time on a better understanding of the weather. And when we get to hurricane season, we'll focus on that in due time. But we looked at it a little bit today. Any other thoughts from you before we go? And let's look at the chat real quick. I don't know why it keeps trying to get over to the share thing. I'm not wanting to share. Touche. I like that. I don't know. Let's see. Learn something from me every day. Thank you. So you have to send me a text, Brad, about what's the touche part. Interesting. We need to start a daily word talk. That's funny. Original word is, so maybe I'm lost at what the chat is talking about, because we're clearly not.
It looks like there was a question on the origination of the term chomping at the bit. So I think it started in like some kind of an equestrian thing. I'm not going to dive in because English is not my favorite subject, nor was it my strongest. So
I did very well in that regard, if I may say so myself. So, but whatever, we're not here to compare English scores.
Right.
I think we're pretty much done for today.
I think so.
And with that, like I said, I do have an outro, so we're going to go to that in a second. Tomorrow we will have a visit from Jen Naramore, which is timely because we are starting to ramp up the tornado threat, and she is studying tornadoes, especially the deaths that they have caused over the years, the decades, and more. So we'll have a visit from Jen Naramore. I have no idea where she is. That's the whole part of checking in with Jen.
I don't know where she is either. So
so we'll see, and we'll also work towards Friday and ringing up some of the well-known chasers that are out there to see if they can come on in the morning and tell us their game plan for the day ahead, and we'll see who is available or who chooses to sleep in.
Right.
All right. Well, CJ, thanks for hanging out, and I'm going to do the outro video. Hopefully everything will work smoothly there. This has been Talking Weather. I am Mark Sudduth. That's CJ Morgan. We'll see you back tomorrow, everybody. Let's roll the out.